5 Minutes Funnier is back. Hi, and welcome to 5 Minutes Funnier, the comedy how-to. I am your host, Jimmy England, here with some new tips and hacks to help you be a better comedian. Now, if you ever apply for a comedy festival or a joke contest or a comedian contest where you have to submit some of your work for approval, what they're generally looking for, and especially anything that's going to be televised, is somebody who has a very polished act. If you're somebody that's going out there kind of ad hoc doing your stuff, that is not going to cut it. The Winnipeg Comedy Festival, which is probably the biggest comedy festival we have here in Canada, one that's very desirable to go on, gives you a lot of credit if you can make it, gets hundreds and hundreds of submissions every year. And in their guidelines, they tell you right flat out, be polished. Don't be on stage trying to think of what your next joke is. Don't think you're going to be ad-libbing with the audience. You have to know your act. That's what it all comes down to. But that's not all. You have to eliminate a lot of these words that we tend to use in casual conversation. For instance, like, right, sure, yeah, that sort of thing. Now, there's a reason why we say those words. For instance, the word right. I have run into a lot of people who will do that all the time, on stage and off. And it's a form of validation. They're looking to have the audience or the person they're talking to agree with them so that they can continue on. Well, you don't have to worry about that. If it's an audience, they're not going to get together, take a survey, and decide they're on your side on this particular point. You have to just go out there and do it. Like is another one. Oh my heavens. We did a podcast. I do a podcast called Back to the Balcony about movies. And we did one on Funny People, the Adam Sandler movie. And I had 3 comedians on, plus myself. And the conversation, not surprisingly, drifted off into the comedy business. By the way, I do recommend it to you. It will be coming out on February the 28th. Back to the Balcony on Funny People. And it was a bear to edit because in casual conversation, people who get on stage and can speak like normal, fluent comedians were using like. That is not unusual, by the way. But when you're on stage, you have to take that and get it out of your act. And if you're ever going to be doing anything that's going to be recorded, whether it's TV or especially audio, get rid of it. It makes all the difference in the world. So get rid of those words. That means you got to record yourself. You do. Because what happens is we incorporate these into our act without realizing. These words just become something we say because that's what we've always said. It's okay, at least for a few seconds, to not say anything while you figure out what your next joke is. Go ahead and do that. Your act will be better for it. Well, that's it for 5 Minutes Funnier. I hope you got something out of this particular episode. As I said, check out that episode of Back to the Balcony on the 28th. I think you're going to enjoy it because a lot of stuff about the comic business came up. And we had people on that show that have been doing comedy for 25, 30 years. And I learned stuff. I think you will too. Anyway, in the meantime, please subscribe to this channel. That'll help us build our base of listeners. And share us with any other comedians you think might benefit. And as always, stay funny, everybody.